Hi, I'm Miss Joanne, and I'm here to tell you about the story Isaiah Dunn is My Hero by Kelly Baptist. It's a book about a 10-year-old boy, Isaiah, sometimes called Zaya in the story. And Isaiah loves words. His mom says he gets his love for words from his dad. Isaiah likes writing poetry, and his dad did like writing stories. In his journal, stories about Isaiah, his son, being a hero. But 4 months ago, his dad died, and now Isaiah is the man of the house. He has to take care of his sister Charlie because his mom is not handling the death very well. In the meantime, they have lost their home and had to move into a motel. Isaiah calls it the Smoky Motel because of all the cigarette smoke, and he hates it there. And he feels like now that he's the man of the family, he should be making money so he could get his family out of that motel into a good home. In the meantime, he has a best friend, Sneaky, who they had a little bit of a falling out, and now Sneaky doesn't talk to him. But Isaiah can't deal with that right now. He has to take care of his mom and his sister. He also has a girl in his class, her name is Angel, who picks on him and calls him Isaiah dumb. And when he tries to fight back, he always gets in trouble from his teacher because his teacher never sees what Angel does, only what he does. In the meantime, to feel comfort and keep his dad close, he reads his dad's journal. Now, like I said, he needs to make money, and he looks for ways to do that, and he gets help from the most unexpected people. This is a great story about family, friendship, and the power of kindness. Read Isaiah Dunn is My Hero and enjoy a really good story. Anna Henderson and her family are just arriving to their weekend away at Idlewood Manor in the book The Explorer's Code by Allison Hymas. Charlie, Anna's brother, won this weekend away with a math contest that he won. And Anna's not too excited about being there. But she loves to explore, so she makes the best of it. She starts exploring the manor, the grounds around the manor, and she finds a secret passageway up a set of stairs to a closed-off third floor. And while she's in the third floor, poking around, she finds journals and letters and maps. Who does all this belong to? Now, in the meantime, Charlie loves numbers, he's a math person, notices that the room numbers have shadows underneath them. So he looks closely and he realizes that the room numbers used to be different. The strange thing, though, is some of the room numbers were the same. When he takes all these numbers from the doors and he puts them in a line, he realizes it's a code. Now he has to try to figure out what this code is. And once he figures it out, and you'll have to read to find out what it is, it leads him to another code. So he's doing his own thing with his own secret. And then there's another family there. It's Emily and her mom and dad. And her mom and dad are historians, and they're trying to prove that Idlewood is an historical landmark. And Emily wants to help them, but of course that's their job. They want Emily to just go off and have fun, find the other kids that are there with their parents. But Emily doesn't want to do that. Emily wants to show her parents that she too can be a historian. So she's looking at things and studying things and going into the libraries, and she's finding secrets. Now, Anna, Charlie, and Emily all have their own separate secrets. What they don't realize is if they brought them all together, they might be able to solve what they're trying to figure out. But will they do that? Will they come together and work together? There's a lot of problems with the three of them. Or will they try to solve it on their own and make it a competition between the three of them? In the meantime, you have the other guests that have some of their own secrets. Lots going on in this story. It's a lot of fun to read. See what issues Anna, Charlie, and Emily have with each other, how they help each other without even realizing it, and find out if in the end they come together or if they make it a competition between each other. Enjoy the mystery.
Chris Grabenstein, the excellent author of the Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library series, has a new book out called The Smartest Kid in the Universe. Let me give you the rundown. Riverview Middle School may have been nice once, but now it's a bit of a disaster. Leaks, peeling paint, dented lockers, but with a beautiful riverside location. The vice principal's office is in a janitor's closet. Due to budget cuts, one middle school is set to be closed at the end of the school year. Some people, including the Riverview principal, are hoping that it's their school. Why would a school principal want her school to close? Perhaps it has something to do with the prime riverside location. Enter Jake McQuaid, a popular 7th grader who likes to socialize and play video games, not into studying or doing his schoolwork. He is always hanging around with his best friend, Kojo Shelton. Kojo likes to get straight A's. He's into science and old police shows because he wants to be a detective. And finally, there's Grace Garcia, the smartest girl in school, and Jake thinks the prettiest too. She's on the Quiz Bowl team, and her uncle is the vice principal of Riverview Middle School, the one with an office in the custodian's closet. Jake is happy skating by at school getting C's, but when he scarfs down some jelly beans one night, all of a sudden he's spouting facts like a Wikipedia page. He has no idea how he suddenly just knows so much. Turns out the jelly beans were actually a prototype for ingestible knowledge. That's food that makes you smart. Talk about food for thought. Jake's IQ has suddenly skyrocketed, and as word gets out, Jake becomes a valuable resource and a hot news item. How will Jake use his newfound intelligence? Will he join the Quiz Bowl team? Will he help his little sister with her homework? Will he be able to save Riverview Middle School from being shut down? And how long will the jelly beans last? Will he stay the smartest kid in the universe, or will he go back to being his average self? Oh yeah, and there's a pirate's treasure too. I hope you'll try this fun and exciting new book, which is the first of the series. Book 2, Genius Camp, is due out by December 2021. My next pick is The Inbetween by Rebecca K.S. Ansari. In this slightly creepy mystery, the main character is Cooper. He's been feeling sad and lonely since his father moved away and started a new family, and he's having a hard time connecting with his friends. He has a younger sister, Jess, and since their mom has to work an extra job to help pay the bills, Cooper has to look out for Jess and help her to manage her diabetes when his mom is working. Then there's Elena, the strange rich girl who moved in across the street from Cooper and Jess, who was always sitting on her swing in her fancy private school jacket, staring. Gus is the new kid who was sent to live with his grandmother while his parents try to work out their marital issues, and he becomes friends with Cooper. So while doing some research for school, Jess learns of an unsolved mystery about a train crash that happened in 1928 in England, which killed 16 people. One boy among those 16 was never identified by family and is gone unidentified to this day. The reason Jess found the story so interesting is because the unidentified boy had an insignia on his jacket that was familiar to her. It is the same insignia on the private school jacket worn by Elena, the strange new girl across the street. As Cooper, Jess, and Gus try to investigate the connection between the girl across the street and the train mystery, they begin to worry that there might be some sort of impending disaster involving the three of them. Since it's a mystery, I definitely don't want to give too much away, but I'm going to give you my top 3 reasons why you should read this book. First, I like the sibling relationship between Jess and Cooper. It's realistic. In the beginning, Cooper has some feeling of resentment, but their investigation of the train crash mystery brings them closer together. Second reason is because of the friendship between Cooper and Gus. This friendship helps Cooper feel understood in a way his other friends could not. And the best reason for reading this book is for the unexpected ending that I did not see coming.
Hello everyone, my name is Miss Sarah and welcome back to another one of our book talk videos. So today I'm going to tell you guys about one of my recommendations for 5th and 6th grade readers, and that is 365 Days to Alaska by Kathy Carr. So this is a story about 11-year-old Rigel. So Rigel lives in Alaska with her mom, Lila, her dad, Bear, and her 2 sisters, and they're currently living off the grid. So if you don't know what that means that they're living with no electricity, no running water, and no big stores nearby if they need anything. So in order to get food, Rigel and her family, they hunt for everything they eat. They'll collect rainwater if they need water, or they'll use the stream nearby. If they have to use the bathroom, they use an outhouse. And when they need to shower, they have to drive about an hour away to the big town. But Rigel loves this. She loves this life, and she's actually learning to hunt this year now that she's 11. And everything seems to be going pretty okay for her until the day her parents announce that they are going to be getting a divorce. And Rigel and her sisters are going to have to go with her mom to live in Connecticut with their grandmother. Well, this pretty much turns Rigel's whole life upside down, and she's freaking out pretty badly. But then her dad, Bear, pulls her aside and he tells her that he's going to work on the oil rig while she's in Connecticut. And he's going to earn a lot of money, and if she can promise to give Connecticut an honest try, after 1 year, he'll bring her back to Alaska to live with him. So 365 days in Connecticut. But with one catch, she can't tell her mom or her sisters about this deal. It's just between the 2 of them. And it's just a deal for Rigel. Well, Rigel agrees because, okay, she can make it 365 days. She's really good at math. She'll count down every day. She'll count down the percentages, and she'll make it. And then she'll know at the end she gets to go back to living in Alaska off the grid like she likes. But as they arrive in Connecticut, life is pretty crazy different. So it's so much more crowded. There's so many more people. It's noisy. There's a lot more pollution too. And Rigel just can't make heads or tails of this, and let alone make any friends. So she's struggling pretty hard, but she's trying. Every day she counts down. And as she's settling into her life in Connecticut, she does make one new friend, a little crow that she meets outside of her school. So this crow has a little white mark on his chest, and he seems to be lingering around the trash dumpsters outside the school. And Rigel starts visiting him every day at lunch. She goes out there, and even though she knows she's not supposed to, she starts feeding him and becoming friends with this crow. And she thinks, well, if this little bird can learn how to survive in the suburbs, then maybe she can too. Maybe she can make it through this year. So this is an awesome story all about Rigel. And moving away from Alaska and off the grid living, I can't even imagine living like that to begin with, but her learning how to live and adapt to living in a whole new place like Connecticut, which seems so day to day to someone like you or me, is such a cool story, and seeing it from someone else's point of view is awesome as well. I definitely recommend checking out this story and trying to walk a mile in Rigel's shoes. Izzy Newton and the Smart Squad, Absolute Hero by Valerie Tripp. This is an awesome story about our main character, Izzy Newton. Well, Izzy is starting 6th grade this year, which means she's moving up to the middle school. And a brand new school plus a crazy class schedule is enough to make Izzy pretty dizzy. But as long as she has her best friends Charlie Darwin and Allie Einstein by her side, she's pretty sure she can handle anything. Plus, she just found out that her childhood friend, Marie, is moving back to town and will be starting at the same middle school as her. So that sounds pretty good. But on the first day of school, when she tries to approach Marie, Marie's not really interested in being her friend. She kind of gives her the cold shoulder. Plus, it seems like she's found a new best friend for herself and doesn't really want anything else to do with Izzy. Well, that makes Izzy pretty sad, but she's got other things to worry about pretty quickly because her school is freezing. And I'm not talking just sweater weather cold. It's so cold in her school that the kids have to bundle up from class to class in their winter jackets and their scarves and hats. Well, it seems like the school's air conditioning is on the fritz, but the teachers can't figure out what's the problem. The principal can't figure it out. He hires maintenance crews to come look at the air conditioning, but no one can seem to figure out the problem. And as they try to solve it, the temperature in the school just keeps dropping and dropping and gets colder and colder. Well, Izzy and her friends are tired of being freezing, and they're tired of feeling like absolute zeros around everyone too. So they decide they're going to try to solve this mystery of the freezing school, and they'll become the heroes of Adam Middle School. Well, using their science skills and their brain power, they work together to try to solve this frozen mystery, and maybe fix a frozen friendship too along the way. This is an awesome story about friendship, science, and solving a really great mystery. I really enjoyed the tale of Izzy Newton and her friends. Plus, I really loved the joke of all their names having to do with some pretty famous scientists like Izzy Newton, Allie Einstein, and Charlie Darwin. Can you guys figure out who they might be named after? If you can't, at the end of the story, you learn all about the scientists that inspired the characters' names and some of the science that they use in the story to solve the mystery. It's a really great story that combines STEM with literature, and I really do recommend checking out Izzy Newton and the S.M.A.R.T Squad. And if you do enjoy this one, there is a sequel coming out very soon.
Hi, it's Miss Bailey, and I wanted to share Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. Meet Amari Peters. Her older brother Quinn went missing a while ago. So many people, including the police, have told her to accept that he's gone for good, possibly even dead. But Amari won't accept that. She knows there's more to the story. Her theory doesn't turn out to be so crazy when her life changes one night. Amari is thrown into a supernatural world she never knew existed. Turns out her nerdy older brother was a big name in the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, and now she's been nominated to join during a summer tryout. Similar to a summer camp, but with fierce and dangerous competitions, and, of course, magical creatures. Amari wants more than anything to become an agent like her brother, and to also discover just what happened to him. However, there is an evil magician with a sinister plan who is threatening the very world she just learned about. Amari finds herself involved in more than just the mystery of her brother. She is now facing a powerful enemy while also learning about her own mysterious and illegal capabilities. This book is a perfect mixture of Harry Potter with some Men in Black vibes. You won't be able to put this down. Hi, this is Miss Bailey, and I want to talk about the book Middle School Bites by Stephen Banks. Tom's last day of summer vacation does not go according to plan. He is so worried about starting middle school that he never thought about anything else going wrong. Until he gets bitten 3 times by a vampire, a werewolf, and a zombie. Which explains why on the first day of school he's suddenly super pale, has pointy teeth, is super hungry, and seems to be invisible in mirrors and pictures. Oh, and he howls during his choir class. Tom realizes he might just be the first Vam-Wolf-Zom combination ever. Now on top of trying to fit in, he has to figure out what to do with his big news, and if he should tell anyone. Throw in a bully, an upcoming full moon, and Tom has his hands full trying to make it through the first week of middle school.
Hi, Mrs. Mendelson here to talk to you about some great spring reads. This one is a graphic novel, and it's called Oh My Gods. And it is written by Stephanie Cook and illustrated by, it's written by Stephanie Cook and Insha Fitzpatrick, and the art is done by Juliana Moon. And this is, if you like mythology, if you're a big fan of Percy Jackson books, you're really going to like this one as well. Karen is 13 years old. She lives in New Jersey with her mom. And her mom gets a job that's going to require her to travel. So Karen is going to have to go and live with her dad, Zed. She's never lived with him before, so she takes a plane and to Mount Olympus, which doesn't really click with her initially. She is oblivious to her identity. She's oblivious to what's going on initially until she finally realizes that her schoolmates are the Greek gods in younger form. So as she starts school, some of the kids are being turned to stone. And the gods and goddesses that she befriends decide to investigate this mystery. See some cool pictures there. All right. So kind of along the lines of Percy Jackson, but not as much action, but they definitely are on the prowl to solve this mystery. Okay. So that's the first one there. The next book I want to share with you is called The Good War by Todd Strasser. All right, so if you, how many of you like video games? All right, so this is basically this school in a rural town. They start a club called, it's a gaming club, so they were able to get a grant to get 8 brand new gaming computers, and this is kind of like the beta test of the club. So the kids pick the kids pick the game that they want to play, which is called The Good War. This takes place during, the game itself takes place during World War II, and it's Axis versus the Allies. And the teens don't quite get what's going on. They haven't really learned about World War II and what's going on. And the teams don't change. So if you're on the Axis team, you stay on the Axis team. If you're on the Allied team, you stay on the Allied team. So the Axis team winds up being the more popular kids, and the quote misfits wind up being on the Allies. So as they play, the game goes a little too far, and the Axis team starts to emulate some of the characteristics of the Nazis. Starting with the Nazi salute, and then they wind up they come to school wearing t-shirts that have the double lightning, which is the SS symbol. And like I said before, most of them are ignorant of the events that happened. They haven't learned them yet. And it's a good allegory of how you have to be very careful when you play games online. The chapters are in alternate narration from the different kids who are involved in the gaming club. So this is a great read.